What's going on, everyone? This is your boy AshTheMan, and thank you so much for tuning in. So we are here to talk about episode 4 of ID Invaded. Now, this episode is named Extended, so yeah, definitely gonna jump right into this. But before we jump right into this, I just want to let you guys know, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button to get all the uploads of my reviews, discussion videos, live streams, and etc. So, but nevertheless, let's definitely get into this. So, episode 4 revolves around the killer named Gravedigger. Pretty much, he kidnapped his victims, put them in, I guess, a barrel, that's what it looks like, or a closed off area. I'm not sure, but in this episode we seen that he closed them off in a barrel, pretty much. It's like in a mysterious location, of course. And there's a video that records the victims and see how long it takes for the victims to decease, and it goes directly to YouTube. That's wild. But nevertheless, so we seen that he kidnapped this young girl. She's on there. She get her big old statement. Oh, I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna last longer than any other victim. Blah blah blah. And people just watching it like that's some sick shit. And whatever. But so one of the things that we kind of get into this episode is that we start off with one of the previous killers who was drilling holes into people's heads. His name is Fukuda. Of course, he got arrested, but they were trying to use the ID well on him for a substitute, because that Sakaido, he ended up causing the sniper victim, the sniper killer or whatever, who was like bombing different places. He caused him to pretty much commit suicide. So of course they had him in some type of like hole where he was blocked off from any type of communication with other, inmates, and just being closed off from his natural, incarcerated place. But however, later in the episode, when that new victim video pretty much arrives, he was called to, of course, go back into the world where he becomes the brilliant detective. But in this case, it was kind of interesting because in the previous videos, we didn't see him die as fast in the ID well, but he did. He died fast, constantly. I know after a while, they was there for like 2 days straight, and he was pretty much just getting blown up, different positions. Sometimes he made it far, and sometimes he just really didn't make it far at all. But pretty much he was trying to make it to the point to where this girl was standing outside. Well, not standing outside, but standing in the window of the top building in this like apartment, apartment building, where he's seeing burnt corpse, but there was no fire, but then certain explosions happened. So eventually he made it up there, in which they located the killer, some nearby neighbor who pretty much was a copycat of Gravedigger. So it wasn't the actual murder, it was somebody copying him. I guess he may wanted to murder the girl for some odd reason, but however, when they caught him, they seen him that he was watching his own victim on the video, and they made it down to the barrel to try to rescue her. But as they make it down to the barrel, they figure out that the victim was already dead. It was a pre-recording that they was broadcasting, well, not broadcasting, but uploaded to YouTube, in which, if you know with YouTube, they kind of tell you if it's live. So I mean, I don't think they really thought that out. They could have just assumed that she was dead, but I guess it's to just add the mysteries from there. I mean, it's an anime, so they got to make things a little bit more engaging. But in the sense, if you're going to use a platform in your anime, you kind of want to make sure that you cover all bases of how they determine if the video is live or not. So that kind of part nagged at me the most, because it was like, okay, it's live, but then they said, oh, at the end it's a pre-recording. So it's like, yeah, threw me. It just messed with me. I'm just saying that. But nevertheless, the conversation that he had with the lead detective was Sakaido. Pretty much, Sakaido was telling him that pretty much he doesn't have like a murderous intent, but he said something, succumbs him to that, and at that point he gives into his urge to kill, in which that's why he goes into having people commit suicides. And I think that victim was the last victim to succumb to having suicides by Sakaido. And I mean, in that case, it kind of asks you this question, what kind of environment did he walk into? Because in the previous episodes, they kind of touched bases of what happened. His wife and his kid was murdered brutally by this guy named John White, and he basically beat the dog shit out of his daughter until she died. So that's wild. So I guess like that's what's driving him when he see like somebody who come in who's a murderer, who committed murder. He just has that urge to kill. So I mean, you can't really blame him, but killing is wrong under any degree. So that's why I guess they have him in that confinement due to those reasons. So this episode 4 kind of like opens our eyes to more of what is causing these victims. And before I ended off with this review, at the end, the same detective girl who got a drill in her head is still living. Don't ask me, but she ended up finding one of the other victims who are still alive, and he gives her a deep kiss. I guess he's trying to have some type of drug that's in his mouth or something. Maybe he's trying to knock her out cold. But if she get caught, if this is her getting caught again, good God, she needs body. She needs some type of bodyguard, like 50 Cent bodyguards, like Jay-Z bodyguards, some of that degree, because good Lord, like she pretty much is turning into the Velma of the anime. So yeah, but other than that, I just want to say this episode was definitely interesting. It definitely opened up our eyes to a lot of on Sakaido's end, and more on his grave, robber, whatever he's doing. But nevertheless, I just wish they kind of like focused more on the whole like John White thing, because definitely this guy was definitely feared by Futica when they invaded his unconscious mind. So I wish they would have had some way of like involving him in this episode, but maybe they're gonna do that in the 5 when they catch this grave murderer and being able to get him down. But nevertheless, I think the video went as long as it should. That's going to be about a little bit over 7 minutes, and yeah, definitely should have went over that. But nevertheless, again, thank you guys for definitely tuning in. Leave a comment below how you feel about the episode. Other than that, AshTheMan signing off. Peace.